JHOPE shared with us a rather interesting experience involving Jungkook and Taeyoung. On one of their outings, they went out for drinks together, which shows the personal and fun side of their relationship. In those moments, you can tell there is a special connection between them. JHOPE mentioned that Jungkook gave himself over completely to the karaoke, singing with a lot of enthusiasm. For his part, he decided not to join in as much, which is quite curious, because normally in that environment you would expect everyone to want to participate. But JHOPE found pleasure in watching how happy Jungkook and Taeyoung were while enjoying the music, and that speaks volumes about how they care for and support each other. That night, Jungkook and Taeyoung didn't hold back in their performances. They sang non-stop, filling the venue with energy and laughter. It's amazing to see how behind the fame, there are simple moments that show they are humans like all of us, enjoying good times together. JHOPE represents an important part of this dynamic, because he also plays a role in ensuring that the relationship between the two shines publicly. The way JHOPE talks about them reflects a deep understanding of what it means to have someone special in your life. It's not just about being friends, there's something more that comes across in their interactions, a kind of connection that allows them to be themselves without the pressures of the outside world. The cool thing is that, in addition to sharing fun times, they also build meaningful memories. The way JHOPE describes Jungkook and Taeyoung shows how much they value those moments together. Although it may seem like their relationship is only centered around music, there's actually an undercurrent of connection that feels authentic. They have a future that unites them, in every performance and every chance encounter, reaffirming the essence of what TAEKOOK is all about. Every detail they share becomes a brick that builds their story, a foundation for their bond that continues to grow over time. When I look at the way TAEKOOK relates, it's obvious that there's something very special between them. Every hug they share has that air of closeness, as if the world around them fades away, leaving just the two of them in their own space. You can tell they enjoy being together without having to force it. I'm often amazed by the way they seek each other out, as if they're under the influence of an invisible force that draws them together. This kind of connection is hypnotic. Not only do they hug each other, there are also glances that speak for themselves. When they look into each other's eyes, it seems like those moments are all that matter. Everything else becomes irrelevant. There's an intimacy between them that at first glance, but deep down, is very deep. Sometimes, it seems like in those moments they share secrets that only they understand. It's fascinating to watch how those little gestures can capture all of our attention. Every touch, every smile, and every little laugh seems to be full of meaning. Sometimes, I wonder what's going on in their minds during those moments. As the months and years go by, it seems like their connection only grows stronger. Each new encounter between them adds to that bond, creating memories that are only theirs. On stage and off, they each complement the other in an incredible way. There is an energy that flows between them that feels very authentic. The way they stand next to each other conveys that feeling that they understand each other on a level beyond words. Sometimes it's like the rest of the world doesn't matter, and what really counts is the time they spend together. Every time I think about that show in Japan, something special comes to mind. During one of their performances, I remember how Taeyoung at one point decided to stand up. The interesting thing was that he turned directly to Jungkook and pointed at him, as if they were in their own world. There was something about his attitude, a mix of joy and a hint of mischief, that made everyone in the place pay attention. Jungkook, noticing that signal, also turned to him. It was as if they were sharing a moment that only they could understand. As they sang together, the lyrics of the song became a direct statement. "I give you my whole self, give me your whole self" resonated in the air. In those moments, you could see how the rest of the group, especially Suga and Jin, smiled knowing that there was something more than just a performance at play. The connection between Taeyoung and Jungkook was evident, as if an invisible bond united them. Everyone around could sense the chemistry between them. It was a love that transcended any kind of fear and came through in an authentic way. It's fascinating to see how Taeyoung, in front of a crowd, dared to perform the beautiful John Legend song for Jungkook. His bravery shone through and showed the deep connection they shared. When Taeyoung stood up to dedicate it to Jungkook, it was like the rest of the world faded away. The emotion and dedication of that act left a mark. For a moment, it seemed like everything they had worked for in their career had paid off, because there they were, feeling and expressing their love. In TAEKOOK's life, you can see that there is a constant desire for mutual support. In every public appearance and in the most private moments, they manage to convey that they are there for each other. It is not just about being physically together, but there is also an emotional connection. It is evident that both find relief and strength in having each other's company, especially in difficult times. The way they care for each other is admirable. Every small gesture of affection, be it a hug, a touch of hands, or a smile, seems to have a purpose. When one of them faces complicated situations, the other is there to provide that necessary support. There is nothing forced in their way of relating. Everything seems to flow naturally, almost as if they were designed to be together in everything they do. This level of support shines through on many occasions. When they are on stage, you can see that they care for each other, making sure that both are comfortable. There is a synergy that feels very genuine. That connection isn't just evident when they're in front of the cameras, but is also reflected in more everyday moments, in the way they interact behind the scenes and in their free time. What's interesting is that their relationship transcends the concept of popularity. No matter how big they are, their focus on caring for each other is a key aspect. This highlights the fact that in a world with a lot of pressure, finding someone who understands and supports you is invaluable. As they continue on their path, it's easy to see that their desire to be supportive of each other is etched into each of their interactions. In each encounter, they forge a bond that unites them in a special way, giving importance to that feeling of caring and being present. In that same live broadcast, JHOPE also mentioned that they enjoyed a particular song titled On the Street, which was another glimpse into their moments together. The conversation revolved around what the experience was like, and it was noted that they were excited to be able to sing their music in a relaxed environment. JHOPE referred to the moment as full of magic, suggesting that it is not just a simple hobby, but for them it is a rewarding and meaningful experience. This interaction highlights how TAEKOOK can find joy even in the simplest of things. It is striking how by sharing these moments, JHOPE highlights the support he feels towards TAEKOOK. Although all the members of BTS maintain a strong bond, JHOPE seems to be especially attentive to their relationship, helping them grow and live their connection authentically. Every time they get together, JHOPE becomes a witness to how TAEKOOK complements each other, creating an environment where they can both explore their creativity and spontaneity. Watching Jungkook and Taeyoung sing and enjoy themselves together is a reminder that there is more to their relationship than just what we see on stage. In those moments, you can see the joy and satisfaction they feel in sharing their talent. The fact that JHOPE has chosen to talk about those moments allows us to feel a little bit of his world as well. It is clear that they build their story, and with each meeting, there is a new layer that is added to their relationship. These moments not only build their memories, but also help define their career and personal life. When looking at the relationship between Taeyoung and Jungkook, it is clear that they have cultivated a love that is evident in each of their gestures. It is not just a bond that is occasionally observed, but a sincere connection that is reflected day by day. The way Taeyoung tends to show his affection towards Jungkook always stands out on stage and in their daily communication. That way of expressing affection makes it clear that there is something more between them than just a closeness. When Taeyoung decided to dedicate a meaningful song to Jungkook on that stage full of fans, it was clear that it is not a casual gesture. These types of dedications are not common and show how deep their feelings for each other are. Jungkook, by accompanying Taeyoung in that performance, added an additional angle to what they were conveying. The synchronicity in their voices and the way they looked at each other conveyed something that everyone present could feel, even if no one said a word. It is remarkable how, in the midst of thousands of people, they managed to keep their connection intact. They behaved naturally, as if the world around them didn't exist at that moment. The gestures and glances between them were subtle, but loaded with meaning. In every performance, this love is not only expressed through the words of the songs, but also through every little movement they make. This is what makes their relationship unique. Without the need for explanations, they simply understand and support each other in everything. In this type of dynamic, every moment becomes a memory that is etched in the minds of everyone who follows them. These moments are not only entertaining, but also a representation of something that transcends the stage. The reality of their connection is there, bright and beautiful, for everyone to appreciate.